From time immemorial, having domestic staff in the home can have a significant impact on the household. They often play a crucial role as assisting with daily chores, childcare, and other tasks which can help reduce the burden on the family members. Now, however, it is important to ensure fair treatment, proper working conditions, and respectful relationships to maintain a harmonious environment within the home. The presence of domestic staff can influence the dynamics and functioning of the family structure. So we can say it is essential to handle these relationships with care and great consideration. Welcome to Inside Today. I am Jumai Manson, and the topic we'll be looking at is the impact of domestic helps in the home. Ramson Agbo Enoch will be lending his voice to this. Do not go anywhere. The program continues shortly. Stay tuned. You're welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, it's Inside Today on Global Television, and we're going to be looking at the impact of domestic staff in the home front. And like I said, I'm not doing it alone. I have a friend, a colleague. You can call him whatever you want to call him when it comes to Global Television, and it's no other person than Ramson Enoch Agbo. Ramson, how are you doing?
Yes, I'm good. Thank you very much for this opportunity to be on this program. I think I count it a privilege because when it has to do with the home, the family, I'm so interested because the society can never be better with a bad home. So good society begins from a good home.
Yes, it does. Good society begins from a very good home. Now, we're talking about domestic staff and the impact in which it has in the home front. And we know, of course, we have their impacts. It could be the positive or the negative, both encompassed when we see what is happening. But let's just talk about the presence of domestic staff influencing the daily routine of family members when it comes to the children, the husband, the wife. How do you think they influence all of that?
Yes, I think it all depends because some domestic helps have a lot to do. There are some homes that you come to today, you won't know the difference between the children and the domestic help. And that's in a situation whereby the helps play some very vital roles.
Yes.
Some helps come into the house and there is a way they integrate and you won't know the difference between them and the children. Those are the ones that are outstanding, that maybe their trait and their upbringing has made them so. How do they influence the activities of the home on a daily basis? Yes, they do, because one, they are already part of the family. Some house helps even determine what happens every day. What meal is Oga eating today?
True.
What's on the timetable? When the kids come back, should they play today with family A, family B, or they should be indoors? You know, they go a long way to do one of this. The intelligent ones, I must separate the intelligent and not intelligent. Some persons are doing it because they needed the cash. But some persons are doing it because they feel, well, I need to contribute and be a part of this family because I don't know what the future holds. Because I've seen situations where some persons come into homes like that and their activities shaping the family affair to an extent, just like it happens with people who are members of the nuclear family too.
Talking more about domestic staff and what they contribute to the overall well-being of the household, like you just mentioned, that there is this differentiation when it has to be what family are they going to play with today, what they're having for lunch, breakfast, dinner, the timetables already, the staff already has everything nip in the bud, everything is on point. Now, do you think this particular, talking about impacts now, Do you think giving that domestic staff that hand of freedom, of independence, can actually hinder the child's well-being in the sense that the child becomes like a desker when it comes to things of life? Do you think so?
Not really. Not really, because, and that's why I must say this house helps, this domestic staff, they differ, okay? And it is left for the parents to know the capacity of every domestic staff that they have. There are some things that mustn't be delegated to the domestic staff. You know, there are some things that they are supposed to do that they themselves know this is their obligation, and their association, their integration, their familiarization, their relationship with the kids matters so much. In some houses you come as a stranger, you won't even know, because what you'll be hearing is auntie, auntie. You know, that respect is there because
Yes,
the
it is.
the parents have created that environment, that enabling environment for the house help to integrate and be a part of the family. So in that case, I'm not talking about people who just walk into the home. You know, that's why I said house helps, domestic staff. Let me just call them domestic staff. They differ. There are these ones that walk in domestic staff. They just come do their thing
And they
you
leave.
pay them up and they go.
How about the living? The ones that live
The
in?
ones that live in, number one thing, before someone come live in your house as a domestic staff, first of all, you need to study the person and know the capacity of the person, the psychological state of the person, the emotional position of the person.
Very important.
These are things that are very critical. What are the person's problem? What's the person's target? Someone is coming into your house, you should be able to ask the person, where would you want to see yourself in 3 years, in 5 years? Know how futuristic they are. Know what their determinations are. Then you'll be able to fit them into a particular category, and you will know how to deal with them better. You know, okay, this is the kind of person the person is. This one is just, life, whatever comes goes. Then you become scared. Come on, don't you think this one will expose my kids to some form of life that I wouldn't want? You know, so your assessment of this domestic staff will help you know how you will be dealing with them. I'm saying this now because of the question you asked.
Exactly.
So that's what it is.
I want to add to what you've said. You said we should look at where the person sees you or herself in 5 years, questions you need to ask. But I think the first point of contact is a live-in domestic staff, for instance. I think the first thing is to check medical check. You have to check if the person has any, when it comes to infection, diseases, or whatever. That's the first thing. And most people are blinded by that. When you see someone that is healthy, I'm just giving an instance. You see someone that is healthy, you just bring anyone into your home. You'll be surprised that person might have hepatitis. That person might have a long-standing infection that cannot be curable. You know, all of these things and all of that encompassed. I think the first thing is to check the medical records of that person. Go for a thorough test first. And then understand that this person that is coming into your home is coming in to make an impact. She is giving and you have to give in return, or he is giving and you have to give in return. And that's where you ask the question, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Some people will just be in someone's home and the person just works from day in, day out. You don't even ask the person, what goals do you have? Aside this, what do you see yourself doing outside this? 2 years from now, 3 years from now, to make an impact. Let's quickly go on a very quick break. The program continues shortly. Stay tuned.
Get ready for it. Inside Today brings you issues relating to family, peer pressure, drugs, substance abuse, societal and topical issues making rounds. Join Jermaine Manson on Global Television Monday to Thursday and it repeats every Friday. Time 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. Don't miss out.
Welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, this is Insight Today on Global Television, and yes, we're looking at the impact of domestic staff in the home front. And Ramson and I are just talking about it, and before we went on that break, I spoke about the medical checkup that has to be done when someone is coming into your home, whether the person is living in your home or just outside your home, at least, because the reason why the person is going to associate with your children, the person is going to be in the kitchen, the person is going to be part and parcel of what happens in your home. So it's very important that you check the medical test, do a rundown of medical tests for the individual, whether male or female, and then you should consider the fact that the person is adding value to your own life, assisting you when it comes to cleaning, when it comes to cooking, especially when you're a busy mom. All of these things should be put into check. It's very, very important that we understand that we should put ourselves in the shoes of that person and ask, what do you want to do in the next 2 years, 3 years? Do you want to go back to school? Do you want to do this? Very important. We should show concern, right, Ramsey?
Yeah, we should show concern because that's the first point. Then there is something we call background check. You need to do a background check for every staff, not just your employee. Well, the domestic staff is your employee at that point in time, okay? It's your employee. So you should do a background check. For how long has he or she been in this business? What's the record like? Is it that the person was driven from one home because she was a thief or maybe molested a child or sexual harassment or put Oga into trouble or put Madam into trouble? What's the problem? Why did she leave where she's coming from? Or is she just starting it? Why did she want to go into it? You know, there are a lot of things that we need to check.
Very
Does this person have a criminal background? Has this person been convicted before? Is this somebody that will go commit something outside? Then you get into trouble for what you know nothing about. So these are some of the things we should also check, apart from the medical checkup, which is just for me too important. Because if you're not careful, someone will just come and die in your house and you go to court for what you don't know anything about. And this is coming as a result of someone being careless.
Negligence.
Oh, it's my uncle's daughter, it's my kidney, she's my church member. No. Do a thorough medical check.
Very important.
Because, you know, sometimes there are some things that you can't take away. Some things happen without you even planning for it.
Exactly.
So sometimes, if these things are not checked and anything happened to that person in your home, you're going to go in for it. So it's very necessary.
And then there's this particular aspect when it comes to domestic staff where individuals, they are very disrespectful to this domestic staff, and then the children also pass that in and speak rudely to this domestic staff. What's your take on that, where I know the person is being employed by you, but at the same time you say such words, and when your children say the same thing, like, what is wrong with you, say some very harsh words, you just keep quiet and say, oh, after all, it's a domestic staff, it doesn't matter. What kind of signal are you passing?
This question is pulling me out of my shells. I don't want to preach right here, but then I think so many homes that have had it bad with domestic staffs are the cause of it. Some of them, not all.
Some, yes.
Some. Majority are the cause of it. The way you treat these people will make them think negatively, okay?
Or positively.
Or positively, all right? It's a two-way thing.
Yes, it is.
Because the domestic staff can save you. That person is in your home. That person sometimes, see, people you don't need to joke with in the home. Your driver, your gate man and your domestic staff. They are very important. They know a whole lot in that environment that you don't know.
Very true.
These people can save you from so much that you don't even know. But then, if you're treating these people badly, they might even be part of the setup. We've seen situations whereby homes are being robbed and the insider that gave the information, Oga came back with dollars yesterday. Who gave that information? An insider. The domestic staff probably. Maybe because the person has been treated badly. And let me say this, it is not fair for you to go out with your kids and someone is able to differentiate between your kids and your house help by the virtue of what they wear of their looks. Very bad.
Yeah,
it's not good because you need to treat this people. Okay, this is somebody that cook for you. This is somebody that do a whole lot in the house. You know, God forbid, if this person, some of them may say, okay, that's why we talked about background checks. Some of them will say, okay, whatever that want to happen, let it happen. And the person go ahead to do the untold things by maybe probably poisoning the food. And we've had situations whereby,
of course we've seen such.
you'll hear that a whole family is being wiped out. Of what benefit is that? Just because somebody treated somebody badly.
But you know what? Talking about this, Ramsey, sometimes I wonder, I don't know, people are different, they say. But at the same time, it's very important that we understand that this is someone's child. Someone actually birthed this particular individual. So why would you? I have gone, you know, you go out and you see, you can actually differentiate that this person is not this woman's child because you look, but there are some that you see,
my God.
you cannot differentiate.
God bless those families.
Like seriously,
God
you
bless
cannot
those families.
differentiate at all. You just, but some cases it's a different ball game. When you see that the child is not looking happy, the child is the one that is doing this, or they're eating the fried rice and chicken, and the child just has nothing, or is just sitting close by and watching. It is so sad. I think we can do better because what what you give is what you receive in return. There are some that will actually go all out to protect the child. That's the domestic staff now going all out to protect that child from harm.
Yes.
Or some, and that is why when you come home, because of how harsh you are or how will I use the word? I won't use the word wicked, but the way you treat your domestics, and that's why the same way they treat your children. And I have seen some domestic staff. So have you seen video clips of how some of the domestic staff kick the kids of their employers? They beat the kids.
What of that video that went around that little baby was she was almost, she was smashing in fact, that video is horrible.
I cried when I saw that video.
That video is horrible.
I did. That was a very...
And those are the kind of things we're talking about. Now you are the one at the receiving end. This is your child. You leave these house helps, domestic staff with these kids, and they do so many things. So why not treat these people well? Okay, so that you give them a sense of belonging, make them feel like a part of the family. You know, it doesn't cost you anything.
No, it doesn't.
Okay, but then the individual differences will always play in.
It will always play in. And at the same time, this domestic stuff, we should understand that they actually affect the dynamics of family relationships. Like, they're... people who are married, they cannot be the same. One will actually agree with the terms and conditions in which you give the domestic staff, and one would not agree with it. I was privileged to interview an elite in Kaduna, and I asked her how was growing up, and she said, growing up was tough. She was a domestic staff for her father's sister. And yes, and the woman treated her badly.
Her father's sister, yes, that's her aunt.
Her aunt. And he treated her so badly that it's so bad that when the kids are eating, she'll be behind the children and when they cough out, she'll be the one to tap them and say, sorry, don't. And then the leftovers is what she eats. That she went through a lot. But she still stayed, and she was like, it was a very bad experience. But and at the long run, there are some domestic staff who are kind, not to inflict harm on the children or what is happening in the home. I've seen some that they say they wash their underwear and cook, you know, all of these things that we hear. But at the same time, there are some who are subtle, who are God-fearing, that they will not. And look at her today. She owns businesses. She owns umpire.
it.
She is wealthy. She has her children. Like now, because I'm sure it's part of those things that she still stayed and knew that by God's grace, everything's going to be fine. But how many people have the opportunity to have that mind or that conscience not to do something drastic or bad? It's not what we feel or what we think. So at the same time, we should try as much as possible to create that balance. For as much as you are the boss at home, you draw the line. Do not do this, do not do that, but still be kind. There's no other way around it to your domestic staff.
It doesn't even cost you anything.
It doesn't cost you, and it's the same food everyone is eating. It's the
cost
same
you
portion
anything.
everyone is eating. So what is the problem? Why are people so
In
cruel
some
to-
cases, they are the ones that even prepare this food.
Exactly.
But if I'm the one preparing the food, I'll enough in the kitchen before I even bring it out.
you have to stop your hand.
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
it.
eat enough.
Because if I take it to Madame will not allow me to
eat as much as I
no
want.
matter how Oga look
Ah,
with bad eye,
God.
give that girl food, give that girl food. She will still want to do what she want to do.
Exactly. And then, there are some that actually maltreat their domestic by leaving them hungry. Some do not eat till the next day or late at night. They eat, and there's this timetable for it: 001, nothing in the morning, nothing in the afternoon, and then 1 at
But the
night.
kids will be eating.
Are you kidding me? They have to eat and take their juice in between. What are you saying? It is so wrong. So let us try as much as possible to treat domestic staff as human beings. And management, they are the ones that actually do a lot. Like a working class mom, for instance, how do you expect to wake up in the morning? At least you need someone to assist you, like someone that will assist you and be there to actually help you out when it comes to all of these chores at home. Cooking, do it together, it will go a long way. All right, now with that, Ramsey, what do you have to say about individuals and domestic staffs? Some domestic staffs can be very horrible, I hope you know.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
We should create that balance and know that, please, being horrible is not, it won't get you nowhere. It will get you nowhere.
But
That
as
could
it
be
is,
your beneficiary or someone who will help you in life. So when you do something really, really bad, it goes a long way. It's really terrible.
That lady's story really touched me.
Yeah, it did.
She was there. She had to endure because she had a target. Okay, probably I am learning. Okay, let me just be humble no matter what. Let me just be humble. I know one day it's going to be good. Well, she's not here for us to know the full story, how she actually came out of it, how she grew, was she sent to school, was she taught business, was she sent somewhere for an apprenticeship? How did she actually get to that position?
Yeah.
But then I think the good news is that she's doing well now. If you're
Very
a house help, if you're a domestic staff, wherever you go, be nice, be good, because whatever you do to others, others will do, someone will do to you someday. So just try as much as possible to be good. And I want to speak to parents. You don't need to manage a domestic staff. By the time you get traces, allow that domestic staff to go. It is not a thing of pity if it is that you want to help that domestic staff. It's not compulsory that the person must work for you before you help the person. But if the person's character, the traits are not matching with what you want, and it's not going to go well with your kids, it's better to let the person go. You can even help the person from a distance instead of just keeping someone that's bad and is going to be a bad influence.
Exactly. Of course, Ramsey has said it all. We know that domestic staff play a vital role in easing the workload of the family and helping out to ease out any sort of issues when it comes to the home front as a whole. Well, thank you all so much for being a part of Insight today. Ramsey and Enoch Agbo, thank you so much for being a part of the program.
It's a pleasure.
I am Jumai Manson. Thank you all so much for being there. Bye-bye.